Welcome to the Hall of Fame, episode 40. This is Ken Miller, and before, as you know, we always start with, before we get into our exciting episode, we have a great episode. We're going to talk about AI, and I think when you think about what's coming in the future of whether you're automating your office, even as you talk about autonomous trucks and how computers are going to do that, there's a lot of movement around that. This one's going to specialize on brokerage and some things that AI is doing in the brokerage space to allow you to be more efficient. It's not necessarily something that you're going to turn around and replace people with, but it take away some of the menial tasks, at least from a manager, so you can concentrate on what's important, which is making calls to customers and so forth to get freight. And with that said, remember, we've talked about this since we started, about the Great Freight Depression. I truly believe the Great Freight Depression ends this year, if it's not ending now. When I look to some of the larger carriers out there that have gave press releases on their quarterlies, let me just go through some of them. UPS is saying that the UPS beat revenue expectation amid the volatile first quarter we've had, and we've had it from several other carriers. Now, what we've heard from some of the carriers, and I've heard from some truckers, is that contracted rates are up. A lot of people that are contracted rates because they're seeing the sign that rates are going to be higher, so they want to lock in a certain rate. So those rates are up quite a bit. Spot rate is also up, but not into the numbers where some people tell me they're getting contracted rates in the 7 to 9% higher than they did last year, and spot rates is showing about 2 or 3%. But I think that is going to continue to tighten, and we're going to continue to rise. Remember, this is normally the slower part of the year. Keep that in mind too. The other thing that's hurting us is fuel. Remember, fuel is running now. Make sure I get this totally right, because as of the 28th of April, it is 111 for Brent crude and about 103 for WTI per barrel. So the fuel is the highest it's ever been, and something to be very aware of, especially to our smaller carriers out there. As fuel rises, you end up eating some of that cost, because if you take a load on last Wednesday to run on a Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, by that week past, the fuel went up so much that you end up going to lose some money in fuel. So as you take freight, especially your smaller carriers, because most carriers we know are small in the U.S., keep that in mind that the fuel is changing so radically. Maybe you need to say something, hey, can we do the fuel on the date that it's dispatched, not the date that you tender it? That's a good way to try to help some of my smaller carriers get around that issue that I believe is becoming an issue as it continues to go up. Obviously, on the way down, if they are being honest with you, you will get the same rate coming down. You will get more fuel than you're paying on the way down if they keep the fuel surcharge constant. Those are people with a fuel surcharge that is tied into what they're doing. So keep that all in mind, and let's move on. The FSA Drug and Alcohol Clearing Warehouse. This has been around for a while. A lot of people haven't liked it, but now they're going to verify their IDs a lot better. So what does that mean? Okay, what is that? So why is that affecting? We're not talking about tickets, speed, and nothing. We're talking about strictly drug tests, alcohol tests, failure to take a test. So you go to a company and you get popped for urinalysis test, and you piss for amphetamines, cocaine, weed, whatever, and then you're fired for it. That warehouse keeps it. That clearing warehouse keeps it. So when you go to the next company, they're going to be able to see that. So that's going to follow you around forever. So keep that in mind. Before, people are just leaving that company, go to the next company. They didn't say anything, and the company didn't really know. This FMCSA warehouse is meant to stop that. And now they're doing a strong verification of ID, and they're trying to stop that. So if you're a bad actor out of there that have failed some drug tests and thinking about driving a truck, now that stuff has a bigger chance of following you. You're not going to be able to bounce around and hide that anymore. So keep that in mind. If you have questions about this, please message me. You can just write a comment on the YouTube post, and I answer a lot from the YouTube post. You can also write on the LinkedIn post, the Hall of Fame, and I'll answer those too, because I notice I'm getting questions from various places. The easiest place is to write on the YouTube post, and I'll go ahead and answer. But if you listen to us on Spotify, Apple, or Amazon, then go write it on. You can write it on the LinkedIn post itself, or you can find my Facebook post and write it there. Or you can find One Truck America Facebook post and write it there. But I'm giving you the angles. The best place is YouTube. And secondly, go to the LinkedIn. It's the Hall of Fame. It's also posted on mine, so you can make any comments, and I will get you some more answers if you want to get deeper into that. All right, let's talk a little bit about fuel. As you guys know, the Strait of Hormuz is still on the blockade from the U.S., and Iran is still stopping ships from going through that are non their ships. Their ships can't get through because the U.S. are blocking them on the outside of the strait. Something else, I have a maps in there that can show some of these things. And we're going to show some that will pop up during this podcast. You have more questions, ask me about that. Now, OPEC and OPEC Plus. So they're the groups of what they call them, countries that exports oil. UAE has left that effective 1 May. That's important because whenever price gets too low, they control production and slow it down in order to drive the prices back up. So basically, they're price fixing, something that's illegal for U.S. companies to do. OPEC has done for years. It's something we've done for years. So it's not something that would be illegal in the U.S., but it's been done for years. So UAE leaving is important because I think there are other companies that were attacked by Iran that I think may leave OPEC also, which would be great because if we're not in OPEC, Venezuela, I think, will leave OPEC since they're working with us now. UAE leaves and Saudi Arabia, then OPEC is crushed. So I think there's some good things there that will help us keep fuel low once this conflict ends, which I expect it to end soon. So with that said, I went a little longer than I wanted to, but I really wanted to get down some things to you guys today that's going to be important in the next month. Be safe out there. Deliver freight. Hopefully you're still in business. This is the time to take care. You've had a rough couple of years. The Hall of Fame podcast, One Truck America, Ken Miller is with you. We're gonna dig out of this hole, and we're gonna have a great 2026. Thank you, and welcome to the Hall of Fame. Welcome to the Hall of Fame podcast. We have a great episode today. I think this one is very, very important to me. I think after I left corporate America, I went in and I ran a 3PL brokerage for a while. And I was always taken back by the amount of paperwork and emails and how you actually get your loads across. How you have to email and call every customer with updates. And I always thought some of these things could be automated, even prior to the huge advancements of AI. So, with that said, for the people that are still struggling out there, I have my friend Rocco, who's the founder and CEO of Polt.AI. We're going to talk a little bit about how AI can help the 3PL industry, what's he doing with it, and many more things that I don't want to steal his thunder. So without further ado, Rocco, introduce yourself to our crew.
Thanks, Ken. I appreciate the intro. And for those that don't know, it's Polt.AI. The name's Rocco Pascente, founder and CEO. What we're doing in the space is transportation management, and we're utilizing AI to reduce friction, reduce headcount, and automate tasks. So we've been it's been in the making for some time, and we've been rolling it out with some pilot customers on a smaller scale now. And we're going commercial rollout towards the end of the summer, and that'll be, open market for everybody to get their hands on the software. With software, it takes a few months a few years to actually go through, tune up the models, and make sure everything's running perfect before we get it out to the entire industry.
So right now you're doing this with one or two brokerages, or also trucking companies? Is it just brokerage you're using, or trucking?
Right now we're focused just on the brokerage space, just because we kind of see that as the main opportunity for it right now. Just because like where we're at with it and what we're using it for, a lot of companies are outsourcing, especially in the trucking industry on the asset side. Most of them have been utilizing nearshoring or offshoring clients for years. And that's started to get more popular in the brokerage space. But pairing AI with your domestic employees can actually just like boost performance. And overall, we're seeing better customer retention. We're seeing more productivity out of the workers because when I say reduce headcount, we're not looking to replace people with technology. We're looking to enhance the people
Mhm.
because at the end of the day, in the brokerage space, it really is the relationship. I mean,
Mhm.
that's the biggest differentiator in it. If you can connect with your client and provide them the service that you've promised that you're going to, that's the differentiator. And if people can utilize our software to, 5x, 10x productivity and make their customers happier and better, that allows them to get back to the main point of business, and that's sales. Sales is what's going to drive your business. And if you're not bogged down by repeatable tasks, which we can automate, then you can continue to scale.
No, but listen, that's a prime. Let's start there. I remember the biggest thing for one of our largest customers. I'm not going to mention their names. We would get a drop for the week, and it would be 320 loads. And my account manager, who was managing the
You might want to
customer,
mention that name. There's some people listening that'll be dialing them with the chaos in this market.
I can tell you, I will tell you offline. And they would drop it. Then the poor guy would sit there. I would have sometimes the assistants helping build loads. So of course, unloading that, what I consider is a non-management task, off a manager into the AI would be helpful. So is that what you're talking about? That kind of function?
Absolutely. It's those repeatable tasks that
Mhm.
happen. So, countless load tenders that are coming in with
Mhm.
one click. We have a Chrome extension built into your email, and with
Mhm.
one click, it's parsing all the information and uploads it into the TMS. And
Okay.
now a differentiator here too is there are AI agent companies out there that simply
Mhm.
sell these agents that can patch into
Mhm.
TMS systems. And
Patches,
it's
yes, I
not
see them. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not to knock those guys. Obviously, what they're doing is great, and it's been revolutionary. But what we're doing is putting it all in one. There's
Mhm.
AI, there's a full scale TMS. They can do all their invoicing and billing, and a full scale tracking application for the driver's end, and a full tracking interface for the broker's end. Which that's another thing that's been going on over the last 15, 20 years in freight brokerage is all these subscriptions that people have to pay for. So you got to pay for a TMS. You got to go pay for a factoring company.
Yeah.
You're paying for QuickBooks. Now you're also paying for, one of these tracking solutions.
Yeah.
So we package that all in one because like where AI is at right now, and like I was saying, there's those agents. And again, they do a good job. There's other competitors out there. I'm not naive to the fact. But where we stand alone is package it all together and bring it to the market at an affordable price for a small to medium sized brokerage
Mhm.
who doesn't have the resources that, these $1 billion brokerages have. Now,
No,
that's not to
yeah.
say our software, we do have enterprise clients that are testing it for us and it can scale that volume. It can process, 10, 20, 30,000 loads a month for a customer. But we wanted that, that startup and that mid-sized brokerage to actually be able to get in because if they can get in and prove this scale, that just proves our software even further. If we can get the software in someone's hands, like right now, a pilot is doing about 25 million, and by the end of the year, they could be on a $50 million run rate. I mean,
Great.
they've just doubled their business. And that's not to say solely on the fact of our software, but we have measurables that we can track to see what was actually attributed to the software.
Okay. Okay. So yeah. So you have a TMS that you have developed that's tied to this that you're using. So it's okay. So
Correct.
that's a major. That's a no. That adds quite. 'Cause listen, when you go out, I remember I've always been in intermodal trucking, dedicated trucking. I was aware of brokerage, but I never did brokerage. When I went shopping for a brokerage TMS, I went through 20 of these things to find a good one. So if
Yeah.
you're offering kind of a package, oh no, we do TMS. Oh, hey, we also help you with menial tasks. We help you with your sales. I think that adds a lot into it because I bought some of those things separately. Like I had a sales tool that I used that didn't
Hmm.
really attach to my TMS properly, and then I'd had my engineer write some things in order to capture loads that were so repetitive and write them
Hmm.
yourself, which didn't tie into my TMS system either. So there
Yeah.
was some patchwork going on, a lot of patchwork going on, which
And
was
that's what the
quite
market's at.
tedious.
It's fragmented. I mean,
Yeah.
some of these systems are running on, archaic technology, and now you're going to try to throw machine learning and AI on top of it. And it's like, those two things don't go hand in hand. That's like, a VCR, and now all of a sudden you're trying to stream YouTube TV to it. And it's like, how do we connect those two?
Okay, so if I'm sitting out there and we have quite a bit of brokerage followers, and I'm at small, let's say I'm a $15 million gross,
Mm-hmm.
1.2 million net guy, um, and obviously at that size, I'm probably using some simple TMS, and everything else is by hand paper spreadsheet, and maybe I
Mm-hmm.
have some type of invoicing software. Not that's probably all I got. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what do you? So that guy comes on. So what do you tell him? So you say, okay, well, let me see where you're at. How do you tell me that guy? How would you talk to that person? I'm just trying to get that over to
Well,
them.
first, yeah.
Yeah.
First, we got to understand their business and what they're
Let's say
doing.
they're all containers.
Okay, all containers.
They're all
Perfect.
containers. There you
So,
go.
so now, like, first things first, when we're diagnosing a business, it's
Mhm.
like, not only are we selling the software, but we want to provide a solution, and we're actually selling results because
Mhm.
the AI that we have can actually execute on it and be preventative when it comes to fraud. Like, there's fraud prevention built in, all of these different things. So let's understand what they're doing. So they're doing containers.
Yeah.
Perfect. We've got a baseline revenue. Awesome. How many brokers do you have? How many seats do you need? One thing we don't sell by the seat, because that's another thing that I found annoying when looking in the market is, you're getting
They
nickel
sell it
and
by
dime.
person, by users. Yeah.
It's like, all right, should we hire this guy? I don't know. Like, all the software is going to cost us, it's
Yeah.
going to be an extra $1,500
Oh yeah.
to
I
make
know.
sure he's full. Let's share the DAT account. So,
Yeah.
so there's stuff like that going on, and it's like, no, we want to encourage growth. That's the idea. I mean, this is a sector of the economy that's continuously. I mean, it goes in cycles. We're seeing the trend up going right now. People are getting excited. So we want to know where they're at and just clearly let them know, hey, it's not a per seat basis. We'll fit them. Let's get a load count on them because
Mhm.
obviously revenue, there's a rough idea we can do
You
based
can
off
get to
the average.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
just ask them, all right, and then where do you project to be? And then we'll build out a package for them. So they'd probably fall above our startup package. So they'd be in just like a mid-tier package
Mhm.
where, maybe they're allowed 700 loads a month or somewhere in that ballpark is what I would peg them to be.
Mhm.
And then we'd say, all right, what's your biggest pain points? What are you looking to hire next? Most
Mhm.
of it at that point is they're probably kind of a founder led or co-founder led sales organization.
Mhm.
So they're out there, they're hustling. Now they need help on the operations piece. So we'll just walk them through it. I mean,
Okay.
we'll walk them from A to B. So load tender comes in, we'll show them how they can automate the load tender. And
Yep.
then from there, we can show them whether that's the fraud prevention, the freight matching piece, the component within the software that's matching to real ELD tracking. So that's part of the fraud prevention. You actually know, hey, does this company actually have a truck in this area via verified government ELD data? So
Yeah.
we know where they're at. And then, we walk them through further. All right, hey, are you interested in agentic AI voice chat where either we're negotiating rates via email or phone call,
Mhm.
or the other portion of that is check calls? That's another thing. It's like people are chasing, where's the truck? Where's the
Mhm.
truck? Well, we have parameters. You can set custom ones, or we have some baseline ones that are used. If it's a team, if they stop for more than 2 hours, send an automatic check call.
Yeah. Is everything okay?
Yeah, and then it'll alert up to whether you're using Slack or whatever your channel of communication is.
Mhm.
So we just walk them through end to end, and so far we've had good success at conveying what we do, and we get people on the software, and
It's
people
a
have been receptive to it, which is awesome. Obviously, like I said, we're in the pilot stage, so we've got a group of clients onboarded now, and we're taking feedback too, because that's another
Mhm.
thing. Just because our team looks at it and it's like, wow, this is great. We got to get feedback from the marketplace because that's
Mhm.
who's using it.
Yeah.
And I have a history being in brokerage, so I knew what I wanted, what I didn't like, what I needed, and what we could do. But you want to ask your customers because at the end of the day, they're using it day in and day out. That's how they make a living. So
All right. Well, good. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. I think this is very interesting. I think it's going to resonate with our audience. And with that closing, I always give you an opportunity to give me your 30, 45-second closing pitch to our Hall of Famers. Go ahead, sir.
Well, first of all, thank you guys for having me, Ken. Appreciate you. I know we've been going back and forth on getting the time set, but I'm excited. I'm excited for the future of freight and technology and where things are going. I mean, AI is here to stay. I'm bullish on AI. I am also bullish on the freight industry. It's continuing to go up, and we just want to help as many of our clients grow as possible. So if you're interested, reach out to us. I'll get Ken to have all my info there, Plot.AI, and we look forward to working with you and continuing to talk with Ken here and be back on the podcast soon.
You will be soon, and thank you for being on the Hall of Fame. And all this information will be placed on the episode when loaded, and then when loaded on social media. So that was the Hall of Fame podcast. Have a great day.